So over the past week or so, you've probably seen the new image generation model making rounds across the internet, giblifying everything. Meta also just released their Llama 4 model, which reportedly is capable of handling over 10 million tokens in its context window. That's roughly this many books, times 5. And with crazy advancements in other areas like video generation, deep research, and coding, we're already seeing companies starting to replace employees with AI. So is that going to be the same for the rest of us? And what's AI going to look like 2, 3, or even 5 years down the line? Well, since the only thing that really matters at the end of the day is money, the biggest question on most people's minds is whether their jobs are safe from an AI takeover. If we're talking about 3 to 5 year timelines, then your job is probably safe, for the most part. Whenever a new technology comes along, it usually takes quite a while for there to be widespread adoption. Like, even though ChatGPT and other AI models have been out for 2 years already, most people barely use it on a day-to-day basis. And even if they do, it's usually for like non-work related stuff. Like, you might ask it for a recipe or a random question you have on your mind or something like that. But for companies, adopting new technology often means they have to retrain their employees or provide a runway for, testing and figuring out different kinks and bugs and nuances before it can be used efficiently in a production workflow. This goes for any type of software, not just AI. There's always a cost involved in adopting a new software system or tool. And as long as the current systems and ways of doing things aren't broken, then they're just gonna keep on using it, even if there are great benefits in upgrading. Now, if we're talking about 10 to 15 year timelines, then that's a bit different. In that time, whole industries would have been formed. The first video uploaded to this platform was back in 2005, and by 2020, content creation became recognized as an established industry. We had companies who made software that helped creators make videos more efficiently. Camera, lighting, and microphone companies started to change their messaging in their advertisements and marketing to better suit and speak to, creators more directly. And people even authored books on how to get viral on YouTube. I mean, not that those books were any good, but people still took the time to do it. So if we play it out for AI as well, then yeah, eventually it will get good enough to replace most jobs that exist today. But in order for that to happen, there needs to be a lot more of what I call middleware companies that needs to be built first before there is any major adoption. Think of these as the equivalent to the camera, lighting, and microphone companies that enable creators to record their videos. For AI, middleware companies will be those who provide tools in the form of APIs and libraries, plugins, hardware, cloud compute, and whatever else that made it easier for businesses to integrate AI into their pipelines and workflows. If you look around, some of these middleware companies already exist today, like Lambda Labs, who provide on-demand cloud GPUs, and Hugging Face, who host the open source models that everyone uses. It's still very early days, so most of them are going to be serving large AI companies, but eventually though, more and more middleware companies will be focused on helping regular businesses use AI rather than helping AI businesses build more AI. So what that means is there will be plenty of more jobs that will come along the way due to the fact that these newer companies would need people to be employed. And even though these are generally in the tech sector, they don't necessarily have to employ people who are technical. They have to make their product known. So they're going to need a marketing department, and they're going to need HR and customer support. And yes, AI may take over some of the lower level work, but everyone needs a person to blame when shit hits the fan. So accountability is why humans can never be replaced. This is also why there are certain jobs that will never be replaced by AI, no matter how good it gets. Politicians is one example. AI doesn't care about power, but people do. Another one would be content creators. A lot of the time, people watch content creators because they relate to the person, or they both had something in common, a similar interest or something, and not just like people typing into ChatGPT to get the script, have another AI read it out. Yes, some of that brain rot might be entertaining, but at the end of the day, you're not going to really be able to have an emotional connection with a machine. Like, for a while, you might be able to trick yourself into believing that AI has emotions or pretend like it does, but at the end of the day, the way that it responds to you is just the way that it's been trained. And that's why you see ChatGPT profusely apologize for something, even though it never changes its behavior. And that's because it's not that intelligent yet. So it's just being programmed to say that canned line in the hopes that users don't get pissed off and go somewhere else. And there's plenty of other professions that also remain around. Lawyers, doctors, No, I'm just kidding. There's like whole entire industries, anything to do with war or conflict. So that includes military, the army. The whole point of war is to kill each other, not to rip out CPUs from motherboards, right? And it's things like the oldest profession in the world. And then there's sports. I mean, if you think about it, watching sports doesn't really have any physical, tangible value other than the fact that it's entertainment. So no matter how good technology gets, you're still going to want to see people going up against each other. That's never going to change. So when there's debates about AI taking over jobs and all of these types of stuff, if you really dial it back into like the core core economics and just how humans really behave, you'll realize that half of the arguments doesn't even make sense. It's usually just a bunch of people catastrophizing, fearing that they're going to die the next day or something like that. There's not really much to worry about. And as long as you keep up with the technology changes and not like fall behind like a boomer, most people are going to be fine.